Well, let's see if that works. Hello, everybody. Oh, Lamb, Elmig's, Dart. What are you guys up to? Okay, right off the bat, YouTube is giving me error messages that the stream's not receiving enough video. Usual crap out of this thing. Hopefully you'll notice a difference in the audio quality since I brought a real microphone out here today instead of that tin can with a string on it that I've been using. Well, who knows if this thing's going to stay on or not. It may not. So what's been going on is since yesterday, I reset the 0 point on the balance. Got it, fairly close. And now I'm watching it. It's just been static for quite a few hours, and it's just oscillating around somewhere between 210 and 217 or 219 or somewhere in there. That's not going to be important in a minute because we're going to move the weights and do another measurement, or maybe two measurements. I have some cute little timers that showed up. So now, hear the irritating beeping sound. Be able to a little more accurately keep track of where these minimums and maximums are. So I think I'll get rid of the white circle. It's not really going to be helping us do anything. Hey, shout out to Chris Holmes. Looks like £4.99. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. Brilliant and meticulous. Fantastic effort. Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Elmick says, yep, sounds much better. Yes, I hope so. Hello, John Rapp. And good evening, John Rapp. I think you're getting ready to go to bed, it looks like. Christiane, good morning, or afternoon, or wherever you are. Hi there. Got 15 people watching. Great. I appreciate that. It's terrific. So, with no further ado, what do you say we move these crazy weights around? No, no, John, the mic does not fix my funny accent. That is for sure. It just doesn't do that. So let's see which direction we want to put these things. I don't guess it matters very much. Let's make it go. I'll put it in the east position, meaning that lead ball you see on the right is going to come towards you. And that's an easterly direction. Be right back. Okay. So that was at 10:43. Got it. So let's see what happens. We'll see the laser start moving down scale. I'll put the little green caret about where the dot is sitting right now. That's no guarantee that that's the center of oscillation. It just happens to be where it happens to be where the dot is when we started here. So yeah, it's starting to move. The period of oscillation again for this particular wire uh, is 7 hours. Oh shoot! Let me get my head out of my whatever. 949 seconds, and half that period is 7 minutes 54.5 seconds. So we started at 10:43, and this thing will be probably as far left as it's going to want to go at around 11:50. I'm an hour out here for some reason. I see 11 and read 10 in front of me. So 11:43, yeah, 11:50 to somewhere in there. We have no idea where it was in its oscillation period when we started, so that'll have an effect on it. But we'll just track it for a few minutes. And I'm on Discord, so if anybody wants to join, feel free. There's a little white circle around. I'm not watching the live chat because I'm over here on OBS watching the actual laser. I want to make sure I catch this thing. When you get through one cycle, then I'll be able to set my timers and kind of ignore it in the in between times. I know several people have asked, maybe Anthony Riley was the main one doing the asking, why I insist on being out here while we're running these tests. Well, I insist on I'm out here simply because that's where this computer is. I can't control OBS and the live stream from inside. I have to be out here with it. That's the reason I'm here. But as we showed yesterday, it doesn't matter that I'm here or not, as long as I stay off the end of this thing like I am. I'm not having any effect on it. I will tell you guys that I've had an interesting exchange though over the evening with Sleeping Warrior, who was very polite and thanked me for um, demonstrating some of the stuff he had mentioned or talked about or whatever, which is good. Very good thing. I would much prefer this not to be that adversarial name calling that seems to go rampant in YouTube land for whatever reason. There's no point in it. Not getting anywhere. What I'd like to do is help Anthony understand what he needs to do to make his work, his version of Cavendish. You know, I think that many people, most people probably, me included, before I actually built one of these things, you get the false impression that somehow or the other you're going to see these dramatic movements of the torsion balance when you move the big lead balls around. And the fact of the matter is that ain't going to happen. These forces are very, very small, and the movements are small. Realize that you're looking at almost a microscopic view of that end of that torsion beam in this lower right hand view. And this thing has moved a total of 2.5 to maybe not even that, 2/20ths of an inch. The movements are very, very slight. You want them to be large enough that you can accurately measure them, but by the same token, you can't get this thing so sensitive that it just goes berserk on you and becomes uncontrollable. So it's sort of a delicate balance. I'm going to say that somewhere right about here, we're at the extreme value, and that's about 180, 183. I'll call it 183. So $10.50 or $11.51, $11.52. $11.52, 183. That's not a real good. That's this first extreme is not a good one to use. We'll let it go through a few oscillations before we decide to move the balls again. So let me go back over now to the chat and see what's going on. See who I missed. Oh, I see Judy Bassett in there. Hello, Judy. And Chris Durham, hello. Good morning. Chris Holmes, hello. Mr. Andret. Skeptic Dank, hello. I don't think I've seen you before. If I have, for some reason, you're not blue, so we'll make you blue. All peoples get to be blue on this channel. There's Generally Shady. Good morning. Hello, Brenda. 30 bored people watching this nonsense. Mark 10, hello, good morning, afternoon. So 5 minutes and almost exactly 5 minutes to the next extreme. Yeah, Christian, I know everybody's feeling blue, huh? Yes, Mr. Andrett. Anthony was very polite and didn't call me any names. Actually, he called me Blue, and that was appreciated. I'm perfectly fine with that, obviously. I've sent him a little bit of information. Just I can't say what he's doing or not doing. I don't have any idea what his torsion wire is, what size it is, what kind of material it is. I don't have any dimensions or any weights of anything. But I just sent him a little bit of info earlier to give him an idea of how slight these movements really are. Because as I was saying, a lot of people, I think, expect that they're going to see some dramatic visual movement of this torsion balance, and that just doesn't happen. We see a nice amount of deflection with the laser, but the laser is multiplying the actual amount of movement of that thing by a factor of 10. So we see 30 millimeters of movement over there on that laser. The beam itself is only moving 3 millimeters. And that's on a beam that's 48 inches long. The little thing that Anthony's using, that little thing looks like it might be, gosh, I don't know, 300 millimeters at most. I could be wrong. I mean, if he gives me some information, I'm going to tell him what he can expect. Because believe it or not, we can actually calculate this stuff. Hey, WS, good to see you. You know, before I ever did anything, actually before I ever mentioned it to any of you guys, I sat down and I sat down and did some calculations just to see how feasible it would be if I used lead weights in the range of, say, 50 pounds up to 100 pounds, to see if that was even going to be feasible. The calculations are relatively straightforward. Oh, Christiane, don't worry about it. You're perfectly allowed to shield yourself. Absolutely. So let's see, we're coming down to, it's about a minute and a half. Let me get out of the live stream. I'll go back over to OBS. Let's use the yellow circle, shall we? Let's put that around the little red dot. And I got a twofer. So I've got a second timer. When I stop this first one, I can start the second one. We're getting fancy. About 30 seconds to go. Oh, you know, just like the pendulum in a grandfather clock. This thing is very repeatable. "15 seconds. It looks like it stopped. Turn that thing off. And let's start the other clock. Reset the first one. And record the reading, which was, I'm going to call it 212 and a half. And that's at 11:59, or we'll call it high noon. How's that? All right. I went for my logalery vaccination the other day, and after the guy stuck the needle in me, he handed me one of these little kitchen timers set for 15 minutes and asked that I sit calmly in the chair and try not to fall over and hurt myself until the clock went off. And as I was sitting there thinking, wow, it'd be nice to have a couple of those for Cavendish, so I don't have to keep trying to do the math in my head and figure out when the maximum and minimums are, or the extremes. So let's see. WS says he's been chatting with Sleepy. Yeah, Sleeping Warrior. You got to be really careful with these things. You can make it quickly. You can make it so insensitive that you're never going to see any movement, and it doesn't take very much to do that. In this experiment, with this Cavendish style device, the large balls are never more than 5 centimeters away from the small ones, ever. So the gap is, 2 inches between them. And with those circular arrangements, like Sleeping Warrior's using, I think he's going to have a hard time making that thing really actually show anything. But for sure, you're not going to position those things on opposite sides and expect to see the balance ever do anything. It's just not going to. Yeah, WS, I've seen, we've seen that circular design. It's been used many times. Trying to get actual usable data from one of those is very difficult because your large masses are never on the arc of the swing of the balance itself. So right off the bat, even if you had spherical weights out there, you got to start taking into account the fact that you're not pulling the damn thing along the arc of rotation. But it gets even worse when you're doing what Sleeping Warrior's got lead flashing, which is fine. It's nice and dense and heavy and all that, but it's just a cylindrical roll of lead flashing. I don't have a clue where the center of gravity, center of mass of that thing is. I think I got a clue, but it isn't, it's not going to be a nice, neat set of calculations like I can do, because these cylindrical masses they can be just simply considered point mass. What I don't want those guys to do is build a system that never stood a chance of showing any deflection, and then say, "Oh, see, it doesn't work. There's no deflection." Well, there's no deflection because you didn't have it. It never. It never. It was never designed properly to actually show any. But if they'll get that right, I think it will be a pretty good thing if they would go about showing gravity. So we'll see what happens. I've offered to help, and um, or at least have a look at it and see what they ought to expect to be seen. Just keep in mind the very slight movement that you're seeing here. Those divisions that you're looking at on that scale on the bottom right are 1/20th of an inch. So you're really looking at like a microscope view of it. If you were just standing back looking at that, well, oops, I don't need to move everything. Standing back just looking at just actually looking at the end of the balance, those are tiny little markings. It's less than a 16th of an inch. You know what that looks like on a ruler, so. So we're coming down to, we'll call that the point. That's at 1207. And that's a reading of about, I'll call it 187. It's a little less than that, but okay, 187. Let me reset this timer. Annoying little beeping thing. So now I get back over to the chat. 32 viewers. Hey, thanks for showing up, everybody. Smash the like button. Dumb Jesus, hey. Sousaphone, huh? Rob Parks, good morning. No, the sousaphone was not invented by Dr. Seuss. That's right, John. With a frictionless pivot point, no torsion. If you get it set up so that that it's actually able to attract the masses and all the stuff that goes along with it. When you remove the mass, there's nothing to pull it back the other way. That's right. It would just sit there. Mark 10 says for most shapes they'll need a numerical integration, and that's true. That's why spheres are so damn nice. You don't have to do anything. Just the center of it. That's good enough. That's all you need. Hello, Dora. No, Dr. Spock is definitely from Vulcan. There's a great piece of trivia from Chris Holmes. Sousaphone, created around 1893 by J.W. Pepper at the direction of American band leader John Philip Sousa. John Philip Sousa, who wrote all those amazing songs that the Army uses to punish you with as you march endlessly on some damn parade field. Good marching music, though. This is great. I love YouTube. We come here playing with Cavendish and end up talking about sousaphones. It's just not going to get any better than that. Three minutes and 30 seconds away from the next extreme. That will be the fourth one, so we'll take a look at this. I can do those first three right now. That first one is questionable, though. Now, wait a minute. I got two timers running. What did I do? I might have messed up. Just have to keep an eye on it. I got the timers confused and had both of them running. That's not good. So let's see. We had 183 and 187. We're going to average those two. 183 and 187 is 185. And then if we average that with 212.5, that would give a resting point of 198.75. And that is the way Cavendish did it. That looks to be it. So that time it's about 214. That's at 1216. Yeah, close enough. 214. Now let's look at that and see what resting point it would give us. So this time we'll average 212.5 plus 214. That's 213.25, and average that with the 187. And you end up with 200.125. Alrighty. So I think that's a good number to go with, 200.125. We ignored that first extreme. It's good not to use that one, but then take the very next one, the very next three, and use them. So now, having done that, I think we'll reverse the weights. I want to try and avoid the huge swings going all the way from one peak to the other peak. So I think at about the 4-minute mark, about a minute from now, I'll reverse these things and we'll see what it does. See what's going on over in the chat. Sorry for ignoring you guys, but I'm watching all this stuff over here. Did somebody join? Hey. Slower? What's he talking about? The oscillation period? Yeah. Yeah, it probably is. I don't really remember. Hang on a second. Let me go move these weights and I'll be right back with you guys.
Questions and the fact that they're only they're never more than 5 centimeters apart. It's not like they're swinging around a couple feet. Right, Alan? Is that you, Alan?
Yes, that's me. I think you said yesterday when we were chatting, the forces involved is nano movements, tens of nano, hundreds of nano movements, but really, really tiny.
Yeah, that's why the laser multiplies by a factor of 10.
Yeah,
I've used a number of different wires, of course. I've used, I've used stainless, I've used pure copper, I've used beryllium copper, I've used steel, and I've used tungsten. And each one of these things has a different Young's modulus. And it varies quite a bit. Copper, for instance, I think is about 48 GPa, where tungsten is like 160, and steel is like 79.3 or something like that. So there's a wide variation in the modulus of rigidity. And all of that has quite an effect on the oscillation period. And at the end of the day, it's got a big effect on the amount of deflection you're going to get. But I like doing this because we're getting the same measurements no matter which damn wire we use. It doesn't make any difference. We've used all kinds of different materials, and we've used a couple of different weights for the small masses, and we're consistently measuring the same value for the gravitational constant.
As long as it's in the range of it moving, it's not too stiff and just sitting there and not too sloppy.
Right.
You gotta find like a kind of a Goldilocks zone.
Yeah, that's what that's the idea. It's got to be sensitive enough that you can make the measurements, but you don't want it so sensitive that you've now extended the time required out by some. It's easy to get this thing to have an oscillation period of 25 minutes or 30 minutes, and now going from extreme to extreme and back again. If there's any drift going on, that's going to start having a measurable effect on the accuracy of your measurements. Keep track of which timer I'm playing with here. Got to get used to this process. I apologize if I was talking over you guys. When I plug these headphones in out here, I kill the speakers. Well, that's irritating, isn't it? Uh-oh. The red dot went the other way. It's amazing. It's almost like it's doing what it's supposed to. How you doing today, Alan? Good, good. Oh, yeah. "32 people watching. Hey, thanks for showing up." John Hawkins says the Discord chat is not coming through, so hang on a minute. Let's see what's going on. Talk to me, Alan. They're not hearing you guys out in the yeah, but they're not hearing the Discord in the YouTube. That's the problem. This thing did this yesterday, and I don't know what I did to fix it now. Something is not right. Pushing it straight through to OBS. Let me see what's going on. Let's see, desktop audio. Let me try that.
Yeah, it says streamer mode is enabled.
There we go. Now I got you guys.
Yeah, streamer mode is enabled.
Okay. I think we should be okay now. I'm pretty sure they're hearing you guys now. Judy Bassett, shout out. €5. Can't hear Discord. I fixed it.
It's
think.
working.
Yeah, it should be. Let's see where we are on our little circles here. I'll be right back.
So I think the answer to the original question, how can relative density do this? The answer is it can't. It's pretty regular. The attraction of mass to mass, and just changing the wire just changes the oscillation period. In other words, is that right? And you have to calculate that in with it.
Yeah, because the torsion force will definitely affect the period of oscillation of the beam. And of course, if relative density was what caused the movement, then everything you dropped would disappear upwards because the air is less dense above objects than it is below it.
Yeah, the gradient goes up, not down.
Yeah,
Exactly. Got it exactly backwards.
but they won't have that one. They just ignore it.
So it's a very definition of cognitive dissonance. It's they hold two opposing views.
Of course, I messed up the period when I moved the weights to the other position. So I don't know if I caught the peak or not. I don't know if I got the extreme on this end or not. It's not going to matter. I wasn't going to use it anyway, but I have to do a better job of keeping an eye on this thing. I forgot about that. When you move these masses in the middle of an oscillation period, you can shift the oscillation period, which I just did. Let that be a lesson.
And how do you avoid that?
You don't. You just wait for one full oscillation. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just
Yeah. Oh, and John Rapp says ergo pushity.
pushity. Uh-huh.
I think that's in relation to the air density thing being wrong.
Right. Instead of droppity, now it's pushity.
Yeah.
Christiane says, now you say, trust me,
Attractivity.
I'm an engineer. Yeah, right. Shout out to JSS
Well,
Tiger,
that's because
$5. Save the flat earthers. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's some flat earthers that have picked up on the there's no such thing as a pull force. Everything is pushity, and therefore pushytrons.
Love pushytrons now.
Yeah,
It's very creative.
I know, it's good, isn't it?
Pushytrons.
Blue, you've got another super chat there, mate.
Uh-oh. Be right there. And Mark Rochelle for $4.99. It's not relative density. It's quintessence. Gotcha.
Quintessence.
Yeah,
It sounds like a shampoo formula.
it does, doesn't it? Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. You guys are the best. All right, I'm gonna stay on mission this time, not miss this this minimum here.
My luscious locks only get quintessence. Sorry, that was creepy. Sorry. Still don't know what quintessence is.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but
Okay, in physics, it's a hypothetical form of dark energy. Got it. More precisely, a scalar field. Postulated as an explanation of the observation of accelerating rate of expansion. Right, okay. That's why we need the dark matter, because it's expanding faster than it's supposed to.
well, it's expanding faster than the amount of mass that we can kind of observe, I think is the problem, isn't it?
That we can observe. According to
Oh, looks like we lost Blue for a minute there.
Yeah, I'm back. Let's see where we're at here. I think I started the timer a little too soon. So I'll just start the other timer. Yeah, there we go. I think it's working. So that was it. That's about 197 and a half at 1238. Mark Rochelle wants to know if anybody's seen the movie Idiocracy. Yeah, I saw it. And you're right. It's a thinly veiled flat-art documentary.
yeah, predictive.
Yeah. 38 people watching. Hey, thanks everybody.
Good.
So it's predicting that, hopefully it not, though, in the future, the class clowns and the bullies have taken over and made fun of the smart nerds, and they've been bred out. It's all that's left is kind of
The strange ones.
the hen pecking order.
Yeah. You guys hold the fort down. I'll be back in a second.
Oh, I think we've got some good stuff going on in the chat, haven't we? Um,
Yeah, Idiocracy kind of took off on that, on lots of different ideas. I just saw yesterday, the the apex of The Simpsons was called Homer's Enemy, and it was the one guy that was like really not a cartoon character. He was like a real guy. He's like, here you are, Homer Simpson, and you're a complete oaf, and yet you managed to run this nuclear power plant, and everything ends up okay for you. That's not reality. And they killed him by that end of the episode. He never came back. And then The Simpsons was never the same again. So that
you want to know why Homer's my hero?
why?
Because he will do anything for his kids. I mean, look at the time Lisa wanted a pony and what Homer went through to get her a pony.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, in almost every episode, all the all the crap and shit that happens to Homer, it's all mostly because he's trying to do the right thing for his kids.
Well, he changed. In fact, that was the inflection point. That one episode changed. Before that, his nemesis was Flanders. Okay, and so Flanders is like had the perfect family, and he had the nice boat and the nice car, and Homer just didn't give a crap about anything but himself. But then he changed once the guy was called Grimes. I think Frank Grimes is what they were saying. He came along, and that's his way. He was all reality and and very skeptical look at the world. And Homer Simpson was just like he was just wanting to be his friend. He's trying to be a nice guy. He didn't understand why this guy was so furious with him. It's not his fault that Homer's the luckiest bastard in the world.
Yeah, but no, I think if you look at Homer, Homer always did try and do the right thing for his kids, even
Yeah,
if it,
especially after that.
you know, even if it didn't always work out, he was always trying to do the right thing for his family and for his, especially for his kids.
As misguided as it was.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as stupid and as idiotic as the stuff that Homer did, he, he he always did it for the right reason, or nearly always did it for the right reason.
Then Idiocracy shows the what ignorance being fashionable, how that will run its course. And yeah, if flat Earth ever became fashionable, that would be the end of humanity. I think
Yes.
even Homer Simpson knew it was a globe.
Oh, yeah. Look, you have to understand that even blip. Why does my brain always? Even Kent Hovind thinks flat earthers are stupid, and not for the reason he thinks most other people are stupid either.
Yes. Most flat earthers are so one trick ponies stuck on that one thing. They don't even really care about the creation of stuff thing. For them, the Bible just serves as a yet another crutch to prop up the stale pizza planet plan.
Yeah, but I mean,
The Bible just
when
seems to be another footnote to it, and never really the impetus itself. Yeah, I've never heard this story. I've never said, well, I was flipping through the Bible, for the 16th time, and I said, oh, well, God says the earth's flat. No, it's always the other way around. It's always, well, how did you become a flat earth? Well, I was watching, I think it was Eric Dubay video came on, and that's how it usually starts. And then later
Eric's,
on, I found these Bible verses.
yeah, Eric's 200 proofs that are, and there's not even 200 of them, is there?
And now even though he's like the biggest mass converter of them all, now he's not he's the opposite of a successful shill. Then, if that's the case,
Oh, okay, no, there. I do believe there are 200 entries in his list of 200 proofs. However,
they exist.
because of the amount of duplications and what have you, there's nowhere near.
Well, yeah, several of them are basically just worded differently,
Yeah,
but Jim Panda debunked them all in nine videos.
yeah. Lots of people have done
They have, and yeah,
plays, haven't they?
and just you can do them all. Maybe spend a minute per each one. 200 minutes. No, that's still too long. 20 seconds.
Well, let's face it. Once you've done the first dozen, you start to get into the repeats. At which point you can just say, "This this is just a restatement of."
Oh, and where did he get them from in the first place? He didn't. Those weren't even his in the first place. Who was it?
Oh, a lot
Robotham.
of them are Robotham.
But there was somebody else.
Oh, there's a
I thought it was Robotham too, but
I think most of it
yeah.
most of it came from Robotham. Dubé just wrapped a blanket around a whole bunch of crap. A lot of them are near repeats, you know. By the time you get
right.
down,
That's what
oh, by the time you
and
get down to 156, you sure as hell don't remember what 13 was.
Yeah, and as Doran has pointed out, Greater Sapien is also working his way through them at the moment.
yeah. How many were on the original list? He made the same. He just repeated the same 13 problems over and over. or not even 13. Really, they're all I don't understand. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
It
that's
looks flat.
silly.
Yeah.
Looks wrong to me.
It looks flat to me, but then, scale.
Yes, well, I've told the story of the two fleas. Do you know about the two fleas?
Yeah.
I'll let you tell it. I'll let you tell it again.
Oh yeah, don't stop me. I want to hear it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the lazy flea says to the curious flea, "The elephant presents itself as flat and stationary." And then it goes down from there. You could like role play it out, and it applies to virtually every flat Earth argument.
Yeah.
If you play it out, it was Brian Mabbott later. It was my final thoughts, and he decided to apply it to his final thoughts. He said, "Well, do you think they would notice the scenery going by? No, you can't use the sky to judge what you're standing on. See how it works? All of their
Yeah. Yeah. Can't look at the sky
see the
because the
scenery
sky
going
might tell
by,
us stuff.
and the Milky Way does go by, doesn't it? It rotates, goes below the horizon, just like everything else.
Yeah. I'm just mildly annoyed that the best view is from south of the equator.
Why is that?
And so I'm just mildly annoyed the best view of the Milky Way is from south of the equator at the moment.
The Milky Way is, yes, that's where it's going. That when we see it go over the horizon, that's where it's going. When they see it coming round.
Well, it's ugh, because of the angle we are at to the plane of the Milky Way. Currently, the southern hemisphere gets to see the best view of it because they get to see the center. And I think in about 250,000 years or so, we'll get round the other side, so to speak, and the northern hemisphere will get the really good view. But I can't wait that long, so I guess I'm going to have to find the price of a ticket to go visit somewhere in the southern hemisphere.
Yes, you can count. You can count on that happening a lot faster.
Yeah,
You can
because
count on both. I'm sure both could happen.
yeah, I just can't count on me being around in 250,000 years or whatever it's going to be.
Oh, you'll be around.
I
All those
figured out
atoms
my
will be around someplace.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they won't be me, will they?
Well, some assembly will
They
be
will have
required,
been.
that's for sure.
And the current users of them, whatever the current users are, might be unhappy having to give them up.
All right, let's see. Pretty close to.
Oh, John Rapp, you know full well that I know who Lindsay Harris is, and I've seen lots of Lindsay Harris. Terry and I have been doing him for quite a long time now. It kind of hurts.
So you want to go to the southern hemisphere to experience the Milky Way yourself?
I would like to go to this. Well, yeah, there's lots of stuff I would like to see in the southern hemisphere,
That would be a nice bonus.
and yeah, I mean the one place that I did manage to avoid visiting the southern hemisphere when I was in the British military, but that's good because I didn't particularly fancy 6 months in the Falkland Islands on top of a mountain.
Yeah, not exactly a tourist attraction.
No.
So I figured my antipode. So I'm in Seville, Spain, and my exact antipode is Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call
Yeah.
them tonight. My friends in Auckland, right at sunset. Got time and date out here, and the sun will be setting exactly as it's rising for them. I think that's my hypothesis. What do you think?
That should be about right. Yes, I think so.
The exact antipodes should share that moment. But would the reverse be true? That I'm quite sure is going to happen. Is the reverse true? Well, it's rising for me. It should be setting for them.
Yeah.
I mean, if one's true, the other should be.
Yeah. For the antipodes, it should be yes.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
something like sandwichearth.com or something.
Oh, actually,
So,
no, probably not.
The other way, no.
I don't know because of
Let me
course
check.
winter times we get longer days and shorter nights. So, sorry, winter time. In our winter, we get short days and long nights.
That's right at the exact same time as their
They
summer.
would be having long days and short nights. So,
So I have time and date here. And let's see. Whoa, where'd it go? So I'll just do sunset tonight, 8:45. Correct. Okay. So Auckland sunrise. $6:42. Their time. So it's GMT plus 12. And Spain is GMT plus 1.
no, because you're on
Minus 1.
You're on DST now, so you're 2 hours in front of UTC. So you're UTC
Yes.
plus 2. Because
Right.
we're on daylight savings as well, and we're on UTC plus 1.
So okay, so I'm GMT plus 2.
It'd be really good if you could tell time and date. Look, don't do local times. Just do everything in UTC, please.
Or both.
Well, yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if there was an easy option to just tick a box to say make all times UTC, because if you're doing comparisons in different places.
Yeah, I agree. At
Oh.
least look in a little side window. That would be a good idea.
Hadza said, if 1 point is on the Terminator, so are antipodes. Fair enough. I couldn't quite work that out in my head with the thing, but yeah, you are right. If it's setting for you, it's rising for them. If it's rising for you, it's setting for them.
And right, actually, Spain got really screwed too on that, because if you look at it, Portugal is on same as you, right? And really,
Yes.
like I'm in Cadiz or Seville, I'm basically pretty well below London, you know?
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
know.
Lisbon and Porto gets to be with you, but Spain is like, and they said that kind of negatively affects our stock market being an hour off. So I don't know if it was by design, but people have complained. I think there should just be a universal time. It's like, why even change it at all? It's like, there's just a number. The sun goes down at 2:40 tonight. I'm from Alaska. I'm used to 24-hour sunlight anyway. For me, the number is just a tag on it.
Yeah, I guess if you live that far north.
And then how many time zones are in Australia?
Um, I think there's one less than the US, but and they're the same width, of course. They're about 3,000 miles across both.
Is there a section where there's like half of a time zone where it's a half an hour somewhere?
The center time zone is is a half-hour time zone. Yes. So
That's just crazy.
South Australia and Northern Territories, I think it is, are on the half-hour one.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Dora pointed out, I was going to say, Spain is on Central European time.
Yeah, we're the same as
to
Frankfurt
make trade
instead of London.
to make trade with the rest of Europe simple. And Portugal isn't, because they like the sun being relatively in the sky at the right time of day.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice in Cadiz, there where I'm at as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it also goes back. I mean, I don't. That would be just a theory that it goes back to the fact that England and Portugal have been the original, alliance.
Oh yes, the world's oldest international treaty. In fact, the Treaty of Alliance between England and Portugal from 1275, I think it is. John Rapp says
against France and
four in
Spain.
Oz. Yeah, against France and Spain.
As on
Which
purpose,
is
yeah,
which is why Portugal remained neutral in World War II.
yes. And Salazar was in fact playing both sides.
Yeah. John Rapp says there's 4 time zones in Australia. South Australia only has the half-hour one. Okay.
That's where it is.
Yeah. Also, Dave M points out India is also on a half-hour time zone.
Well, it is a subcontinent, and Australia is the main body of Oceania.
Yeah.
It deserves a few.
Well, there's a really good. I'll just.
All right. So I put the big weights back in the neutral position. I let it settle down for a while and see what it does. For those of you playing along at home, using Cavendish's method of making these calculations, we had an extreme with the balls in for the east position. The resting point was 200.125 millimeters. When we moved them to the west position, resting point was 231.375 millimeters. That's a difference of 31.25 millimeters. And that would give us a value for big G of 6.52 times 10 to the minus 11th Newton meter squared per kilogram squared. That's less than 3%. That's within 3%. So, fairly close, especially for a wire that's still trying to settle down. I'm reasonably happy with that. And I'll go back and review the video and check these numbers. Make sure I've got the right extremes identified.
And every time you do it, you get more deficient at it, don't you?
Yeah,
You know where to look.
yeah, I'm starting to become a bit more proficient with it. I think the next time I do this, I may try doing 3 of these. Do a resting point with the balls in the east position, and then do it again with the west, and then go back and redo the east. Because if I do that, I think I'll be washing out the drift that's still going on with the wire. I think Cavendish did that. Rob Parks wants to know if how I'm calculating my errors. Are you talking about systematic errors, Rob? Those are built into the systematic errors are built into the spreadsheet. And there's a couple of them. One is, they don't make a big difference, but they do make a little bit of a difference. One is the fact that the mass is not uniform. Mass of the balance is not, I'm sorry. Let me start over again. The balance is not an ideal balance. If it were, you would just have two spherical masses on each end, and the bar connecting them would have no mass whatsoever, but that's not true. The bar does have a little mass. So that tosses an error into it, in that that additional mass of the bar itself is inertia that affects the oscillation period, but the attractive force is not paying any attention to the bar itself. So you got to take that out. You got to figure out what the equivalent oscillation period would be if the mass of the bar were not there. So that's one systematic error that has to be accounted for. And another is the simple fact that each one of these big lead balls is certainly doing most of what it does to the little ball that is opposite, but it's also pulling on the other one. Not very much, but it's pulling on it a little bit. And that's in the wrong direction. So
the beam is changing the oscillation period, making it longer?
yeah, the mass of the beam also has to be accelerated. It's part of the moment of inertia, right?
Yeah.
So it's slowing the oscillation period down. If the beam had no mass at all, it would oscillate a little bit faster. It's not a big difference. It's, I don't know, 5 or 6 seconds maybe out of 950. And you think, well, who cares? But that actually does make a difference in the calculated value of G. So, hey, Jared. Yeah, I am talking about my balls again. You betcha. My favorite subject. Shout out to Dora. €2.
You gotta keep.
Your bowls look so dull for some for some polish. Okay. My bowls. I think you meant my balls. Yeah.
Blue Marble's ball polish.
Yeah.
You buy it in bulk. Well, yeah, you got to keep measuring them. Well, no, the size you've got, though, it's the movement.
There we go. All right. So we got another data point. Another G measurement. And the reason we make lots of these is because, you know, some of them are going to be low, some of them are going to be high. At the end of the day, we'll see what the average looks like. This one's 2 or 3% low, the next one may be 3 or 4% high, you don't know. Just have to do it. All right, well, I'll tell you what, gang, Mrs. Blue has requested access to the laboratory area. Which means I'm going to have to stop streaming. But we got to test. Huh?
Sorry, Blue, didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just saying, can I quickly post a link in the side chat to the next stream that Terry's going to be doing on Saturday, tomorrow morning?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, do that.
There we go. That's at 10 o'clock BST tomorrow morning. So what's that? Yeah. 0900 UTC. Thanks, Blue.
Yeah, you guys be sure to drop by and visit with Terry and Alan.
If you can, because of course we'll be doing. I'm sure one of the first things we'll be doing is Lindsay Harris.
Yeah, Dave in.
Okay, reminder on. That'll be on in 15 minutes. 15
Who?
hours.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say if you're on the Discord, links have gone all over the place on Discord, and I'm sure lots of people in the chat will get it because they also get the notifications, because nearly everybody's names I see in this chat are names that I see in my chat as well, or in the chats for Terry when he's streaming on mine because he's been a naughty boy again. What I'm only saying is arrive 1 hour later after the start of the stream. Laura, it is Terry, remember?
And that's on Aussie Perspective server.
It's on the Aussie Perspective.
And I'm going to make you a friend, okay?
Yeah, no worries. I've just sent you invites to.
There we go. I'm new at this.
We're all in a nice echo chamber. Yeah, it's definitely 0900 UTC, Dora. But yeah, it's Terry. Terry's like a wizard, and he's never late. He always arrives when he wants to.
Ah, I like that.
No, he's just late.
Well, again, thanks to everybody for showing up. I'm going to turn the laboratory over to Mrs. Blue now and let her do what she needs to do.
Thanks, Blue. That was fun.
What we'll do, we'll probably do one of these a day for a while now, and until we get enough data set that we're happy with it, and then maybe we'll try some different materials and see what happens. So anyway, thanks for showing up, everybody. Still got 34 people watching. Keep an eye open. I don't usually give any notice. I just start these streams and let them go whenever it works out good for me. So, but I guess I can do that. It's my damn stream. So anyway,
Yeah, fun.
Anyway, thanks for being here, everybody. I'm gonna kill the YouTube right now. You guys take care. Have a great afternoon, evening, or whatever it is, wherever you are. See you later.
Okay, Blue.
Yeah, thanks, Blue.